Hi, my name is Katie from KT and the Squid. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet the Time Traveler Cowl. This is a free crochet pattern on my blog. I'll leave a link in the description where you can find the pattern, as well as where you can find all the materials that you'll need to make this cowl. So let's get started. For this project, I used 1 skein of Chroma Fingering weight in the colorway Vermont. This yarn is 396 yards per 100 grams, and it is fingering weight. I highly suggest picking a yarn like Chroma that is self-striping with a long color change, because if you use something that's either solid or variegated with a short color change, you're not going to see the short rows so much in the finished cowl. So I highly suggest using a yarn like Chroma, and I will link to where you can get this from We Crochet. You'll also need a size G or 4mm hook. So this cowl is worked flat. This is my finished cowl before I've seamed it. It's worked flat in short rows. So if you're not familiar with short rows, it simply means that you're working a row, but you're not going all the way to the end, and that's how we get this kind of topsy-turvy kind of striping to it. So that's why I really suggest using a long self-striping yarn. For the purposes of this video, I'm actually going to show you how to make the cowl in a worsted weight yarn. I started recording this video using the Chroma, but because it was fingering weight and it changed colors, I found that it was a little bit difficult to see what I was doing. So I'm just going to show you a smaller sample in this Brava worsted weight. So in the pattern, it says to chain 40, but for my sample, I'm going to chain 16, because you can do any multiple of 4 if you want to adjust the size of the cowl. So I'm going to go ahead and chain 16. But instead of 16, you will have 40. So for row 2, it's super simple. You are just going to single crochet into the second chain from hook, and then you'll single crochet in each chain across, and you'll have 39 stitches. I'll have 15. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what it looks like. Now for row 2, you're going to start your first short row. You will chain 1 and turn, and then you will single crochet in every stitch across, leaving 4 stitches at the end, and that's why it's called a short row, because you're not going to go all the way to the end. So I will go ahead and do that. After you finish row 2, you'll have 4 stitches left here that you won't work into. So 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 4. Row 3, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and then you will single crochet into every stitch across. So for row 2, you will have 4 less stitches from the previous row. For my sample, I had 15, so that means right now I have 11. In the pattern, you had 39. So for row 2, you have 35. So I'm going to do row 3, which will be the same amount of stitches as row 2. So I will single crochet all the way across. So here is what it'll look like after row 3. Of course, your cowl will be a bit longer. So for the next section, it's simply a matter of repeating rows 2 and 3 until you have just 3 stitches left. So what we are doing is we are creating this first, that's the end, the first section of short rows, which is this triangle. So you'll keep going until you have just 3 stitches left, and you'll end on a repeat of row 3. So I'll go ahead and do that and show you what my smaller sample looks like. Here's what it'll look like after you have repeated that first section until you have just 3 stitches left, and as you can see, it steps up every time. So 4 less stitches each repeat of row 2 until you have 3 stitches, And remember, you will end on a repeat of row 3, so you'll end on this side without this side here without the steps. So for the actual cowl, that'll bring you up to row 20. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll be on row 8. Next is row 20, which I'm going to pretend that I'm doing, and you will chain 1 and turn. And so basically for row 20, you are going to work across all of these stitches that you skipped or left unworked to make one row going down, and I'll show you on my sample here. So we'll be working this, we'll be working this row right here. So for row 20, you will chain 1 and turn. You'll single crochet into the first 3. And then next, so that this step isn't, so it doesn't like buckle on you or pucker up, you are going to half double crochet into this first unworked stitch here. So that'll give it a little bit more height so that these line up a little bit better. Then you'll single crochet into the next 3, and you'll repeat that all the way across. So you'll half double crochet into this next one, and then single crochet into the 3. And then here I'm at the last step down, so you'll half double crochet into this first one here, and then single crochet into the last 3. So for the next couple rows, you're going to work into all the stitches. So that's what the first section will look like. You see it's a nice triangle. So for the next row, we're going to create this kind of open row here. So you'll chain, this will be row 21 on the pattern. You'll chain 1 and turn, and you'll work a half double crochet over these, half double crochet 2 together over these first 2 stitches. So you'll yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then pull through all stitches. So that's a half double crochet 2 together. Then you'll chain 1, and you'll repeat that half double crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches, and you'll repeat that all the way across. So half double crochet 2 together, chain 1, half double crochet 2 together, chain 1, and after the last half double crochet 2 together, chain 1, you should end up with 1 stitch left. Chain 1, so that was my last one. You should have 1 stitch left, and you will work a half double crochet into that last stitch. So next we're going to work one more row going all the way across. So you'll chain 1 and turn, and then you'll single crochet into each stitch across. So your stitch count is not going to change here. So we'll chain 1 and turn, which I already did. You'll work a single crochet into this first stitch, and then into the chain space, then into the half double crochet 2 together, and then in the next chain space, and you'll repeat that all the way across. I would stop after you do this row and count to make sure that you have the right amount of stitches, which should be 39, because it's really easy to miss maybe a chain 1 or a stitch here and there. So I'll finish this row and show you what it looks like. And here's what it'll look like after row 22. Of course, just smaller. I did count my stitches to make sure I still have 15, and you'll have 39, of course. So now you will repeat rows 2 through 22 until you have 13 of these triangle sections. So for the next section, our triangle, I'll show you on the sample. The first triangle went this way, the second triangle is going to go that way. So they're going to flip-flop each time. So I'm going to repeat row 22, so you'll chain 1 and turn, and just like before, you'll work all the way across, leaving 4 stitches at the end, and then you'll repeat row 3, single crochet all the way across, row 2, single crochet, leaving 4 stitches, and back and forth until you have 3 stitches left. So I will go ahead and make that section and show you what it looks like. So here's about what it'll look like after your next repeat of the short row section. So you can see it's going the opposite direction as this section before. So next I'll repeat row 20, which is single crochet into these first 3 stitches, half double crochet, single crochet in the next 3, half double crochet, single crochet into the next 3, half double crochet, single crochet into the last 3. So I will go ahead and do that. And really, it's just a matter of repeating these sections until you have an odd number of short row sections. Next, you'll repeat row 21, which is our half double crochet 2 together row. So you'll chain 1, half double crochet 2 together, chain 1, half double crochet 2 together, all the way across, and you'll end with a half double crochet into that last stitch. Next, I'll repeat row 22, which is just single crochet all the way across. So hopefully by now you're starting to understand how the short row sections work and how this one goes this way, this one goes that way, and then it'll go that way and that way. You will basically repeat rows 2 through 22 until you have 15 of these short row triangle sections. Or if you're adjusting the size of your cowl, you will just have an odd number of sections. Then you'll repeat rows 2 through 21 one more time, which means you'll basically end on a repeat of row 21, which is the half double crochet 2 together sections. So I'll show you my actual sample, what it looks like. So this is my sample before I've seamed it, and this is the end. So you can see I ended with the half double crochet 2 together rows. So I have actually steamed this cowl lightly with my steamer, so it's all blocked and ready to go. And then the last step is to just slip stitch the first starting chain to the last row, and that's how you finish off the cowl. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll speed it up and show you what it looks like.